there's a lot of people questioning my opinion on the Chelsea Road Bridge incident from the weekend, saying things like, what do you expect them to do? Let the man go and stab people? Or, well, he had a weapon and was resisting. The police had no choice. Or, the police couldn't restrain him because he had been tasered. And other similar excuses. Well, I wanted to point out this story that I came across today about a Northumbria police officer who managed to disarm a man who appeared to have an Uzi submachine gun. Much more serious than a screwdriver, I think you'll agree. Sergeant Graham Yare and two other officers were called to an address in Gateshead in 2021 following a 999 call, in which the call handler heard the suspect in the background shouting that he was armed up and could hear in the background what they said sounded like gunshots. After arriving on the scene, Sergeant Yare tried to gain access to the backyard, but the man refused to let him in. The man was obviously a danger to anyone around, including the man's mother, who was also at the address, and so Sergeant Yare climbed the garden fence to gain access to the garden. He was then confronted by a man who held what appeared to be an Uzi submachine gun, which the suspects pointed directly at him, although this did later turn out to be a replica being identical looking to the real thing, unlike a toy or a BB gun. Yare is said to have taken his taser out and ordered the man to put the weapon on the ground, but he failed to comply. So Sergeant Yare discharged his taser twice, which forced the man to relinquish his weapon, at which point Yare's colleague managed to kick the gun away and detain him. In May 2022, the man pleaded guilty to possession of firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. Sergeant Yare is now nominated for a National Bravery Award. Yare was not a firearms cop, but he did put himself in effect in immediate danger with a potentially lethal threat to life situation. Obviously he had no idea the weapon was a replica, which most people's arse would fall out if faced with, including most police. Although I talk about not blowing smoke up a copper's arse for doing their job, no one should have to have a gun pointed at them in a country where guns are practically outlawed, and although this was a replica, Yare wouldn't have known that at the time. Point is, Yare was in an enclosed space, someone's backyard, with a man who had, in anyone's mind, a real submachine gun, and between him and two of his colleagues were able to disarm the man and detain him, by the sounds of it, without too much issue. Oladeji Adeyemi Omishore, on the other hand, the man who died last Saturday after his contact with police, had a screwdriver in a wide open space with no one at immediate harm, as everyone except the police were in their vehicles. But they failed to manage to detain the guy after he was disarmed, which then led to the man being able to get up and, in my eyes, running for his life, as the police were intent on teaching him a real good lesson with the taser. I don't think that being confronted with a gun should be part of the police's job, but in some cases they are. However, being confronted with a person who has a screwdriver is likely far more normal than we think. Someone could be on their way to fix something for a friend or family member. They could use it for work. There's plenty of reasons why someone might have a screwdriver, and for an incident such as that to end in tragedy, especially where we saw on video there was an opportunity to restrain the man after he had dropped the screwdriver, is mind-boggling. And I think that anyone in a situation where someone's causing you constant pain, especially with a taser, your natural fight or flight mode kicks in, which is exactly what happened here or there, in my opinion. Did the man have a screwdriver? Yes. Was it a weapon? Well, it's not until it's being used as such, which didn't really seem to be happening in the footage. Did the police have a chance to detain him? Of course, after he dropped the screwdriver. Could the police have done more? I think yes, they could. Obviously, until we see the body cam footage or of before the passerby's footage starts, then we can't say for sure and can only base our opinion on what's evident on the footage thus far. Did the man have to die? Absolutely not. And again, from the footage, I think they failed to try and engage with the man. And by that, I don't mean shouting and aggravating the situation. I mean by trying to talk him down and talk him into putting the screwdriver down. They failed to take the opportunity to restrain the man when he was disarmed, and when the man ran, they failed to prevent him from going over the bridge. Although I don't think they expected him to do that, to be fair. But the black cop kept his distance after discharging his taser a minimum of 3 times, which I believe would mean that the charge was spent. when he too could have jumped over the barrier with his colleague and grabbed the guy. I think this was a massively ballsed up incident which led to the guy's death, ultimately due to the police's either lack of training or lack of backbone, which led to a weapons first, ask questions later scenario. I know there's a lot of people in the comments who disagree. Many of them seem to be new commenters and of the videos and likely not subscribers. In fact, I've seen a few with thin blue line flags as their profile pictures, indicating that they're either police or bootlickers. And you know what? I will engage with you in the comments if you have the decency to talk about the incident and my opinion, rather than calling me names and making a fool of yourself. We all make different opinions based on what we see and what we know personally. And not everyone will have the same opinions, and that's where debate comes in. But for God's sake, be an adult and attack the opinion, not the person making the opinion, or you'll never get people to understand your own opinion. And you'll never get people to want to engage with you for you to get your opinion across. Anyway, I just wanted to point out, a similar type of situation, I say similar type of situation, a situation where the couple was in potentially far more danger on the face of it than somebody with a screwdriver in a wide open space. He was in a back garden with an Uzi, or as far as he knew was an Uzi. And he managed to disarm the geezer, and as soon as he was disarmed, the guy got restrained. So why could that not have happened on the bridge, is my question.